Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today I'm here to talk about Ring Shout by P. Djeli Clark. And this is a book that is set in 1920s in Georgia. And it's the premise of the KKK. What if some of the members of the Klan were actual literal monsters and not just human monsters who are horrible, but actual demons? And we follow three freedom fighters who are trying to save their town by defeating these monsters. And in the story, a big bad monster comes, and Maris, who is our chosen champion for the freedom fighters, has to defeat this extra evil demon character. So I really liked this book. I thought it was really well written. I read it really quickly. It's kind of like a horror, supernatural, sci-fi time, which I'm always up for books like that. I thought it was really entertaining. And I liked that they bring up some of the old African American folklore and folk tales and really tied that into the story too. And overall, I really enjoyed this book. Highly recommend. I'm glad I read it. I've heard a lot about it and I'm glad I finally got the chance to read it. So, have you read this book? Let me know. What did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today, I'm here to talk about The September House by Carissa Orlando. And this ended up being a 5-star book for me. I loved this book. In the book, you are following Margaret and Hal. Well, you're following Margaret. She and her husband Hal have bought a house, and when they bought the house, they did not know that it was a haunted house. And although there are ghosts that are seen all throughout the year, all of the activity gets worse in September. And in September, the walls start to bleed. And this is the 4th year that they've spent in their house. And at the beginning of the book, you discover that Hal has left. And so it's just Margaret in the house. And they have an adult daughter, Catherine, who discovers that her father is missing and is upset, and so comes to the house to try to find him. She's never been to the house. She doesn't know the house is haunted. And so Margaret is like, yeah, don't come in September because I don't want you to freak out. And Catherine's like, I'm coming right now because she's very headstrong. And then, it's the search for Hal and Margaret trying to keep the ghosts in the house. She calls them pranksters. She's trying to keep them away from Catherine. And I loved the characters in this book. Each of the ghosts had a different, they all had a name, they all had a backstory, they were all different. And I chuckled. I laughed during it. It was warming. Sometimes it was heartbreaking. It was definitely gory and scary in some parts, but overall I really enjoyed this book, and it was just not what I was expecting it to be. I loved it. I loved the characters. I love all the little ghosts. A bunch of them are little kids, and I don't know, it sounds horrible to love these disfigured children ghosts, but I don't know. I just liked it. I really liked the story. I thought it was written really well, and I really recommend this book. So, have you read this book? Let me know. What did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today, I'm here to talk about The Long Walk by Stephen King. And this book was originally written under Stephen King's pen name, which is Richard Bachman. The first time that I read it, I have a collection of 4 Bachman books, and I found this copy as its own standalone book and picked it up. I've had it for quite a few years, over 10 for sure. I bought it at a Borders bookstore, and those don't exist anymore, so that's how long I've had this book. But that is neither here nor there. I love Stephen King. I am a big mood reader, and I love Stephen King. I went to trivia last week and the topic was Stephen King. And so I was consuming a lot of Stephen King media over the last few weeks, their last week, and it just reminded me of this book and made me want to read it again. So I decided to pick up my copy and read it. In The Long Walk, you are following Ray Garrity, and he is a participant in The Long Walk, which is a competition that is held every May. They start in May. They start in Maine, because of course they do, because Stephen King, where 100 boys, young men, are, well, teenagers. Once you're 18, you're too old. 100 boys either sign up or get drafted to participate in the Long Walk, where they gather in upstate Maine and then they walk. And you see who can walk the longest, the farthest. And if you win the Long Walk, then you get like a huge amount of money. And I think you get kind of like you get whatever you want is your prize. And so they group all the boys together. You start walking. You have to walk at least 4 miles an hour. If you drop less than 4 miles an hour, then you get a warning. And after 3 warnings, you get a ticket. You get your ticket. And so this book, like I said, follows Ray Garrity, and he has signed up for the Long Walk. He chose to participate this year. And so you're following him. You meet some of the other boys. They form friendships. They form enemies. They all have their own perspective on how to win the walk, what the walk's about. You can tell that it's like a huge deal. Parts of it are televised. When they walk through the town, there's people like on the sides of the road with signs cheering for them. It's just a very dystopian thing and a very Stephen King concept to come up with. But I really enjoy this book. I wish more people had read it because I think it's one of his better books. And I would love to talk to someone else who's read this book before. So have you read this book? Let me know what you thought, and I'd love to talk to you about it. But anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.